Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the BAHCO BB0261 4.5 NRP 2060. That's what the box looks like. Well, here's the hinge. The BB0261, all of that means that it is a swing clear hinge. Now, this is what the hinge looks like. Give you a moment to just absorb it. And if you already know what a swing clear hinge, much of what I'm about to say will be just reinforcing what you already know. Okay? So a swing clear hinge is going to be a hinge that allows for you to, well, in effect, get the door out of the opening. Whenever doors are required to meet barrier-free code compliance or are required to swing completely out of the opening so that wide equipment can pass through without damaging doors and frames or the equipment. Okay? So in a nutshell, what that means is this hinge will allow you to achieve practically the maximum potential clear opening width of a frame. It could also be for handicap compliance as well. Your application might absolutely require swing clear hinges. Hospitals are going to have them all the time for wheelchairs to get through. Okay, they are in general reversible. These hinges are from BAHCO, completely reversible. These are going to be available from them as the BB0261, which is 130 thousandths leaf thickness, and the BB0262, which is 180 thousandths. If it's for 4.5 inch. If it's a 5 inch hinge, BB0261, it's 145 thousandths. And if it's a heavyweight BB0262 5 inch hinge, it's 190 thousandths leaf thickness. Okay. Now, why would you want a swing clear hinge, and how does it work? Well, again, achieve the maximum opening. How does it work? Basically, a standard hinge is going to look like just like this portion, and that the knuckle, or pardon me, the vertical axis of pivoting is out here. Okay? You know what? Let's do this. Okay, so here's a standard hinge. The leaves are in the same orientation on each hinge. Okay, now, imagine if I took those two hinges and just tipped them this way. You can see how the vertical axis of pivoting on this hinge is literally right out here. Somewhere right out in front of the door, in front of the frame, the seam right between the two. Now if I took the regular hinge and took the vertical axis of pivoting and I pushed it out this way, well, or this way, as I am in this case, the net result is, because the vertical axis of pivoting is kicked out away from the center of the opening, when the door gets to the 90-degree position, the door occupies this space. And the edge of the door is going to be right here and occupy in here. Whereas with this hinge, when the door is open at 90 degrees, it is going to consume part of the inside clear opening of the frame. Okay? Here's an example. A 3-foot hollow metal frame. It's 36 inch on the clear inside opening. Well, industry standard stops are 5/8 of an inch. So you've got 36 inch door, less 5/8 for the projection of the stop over here, less 5/8 for the projection of the stop over here. That's 1.25 inches. Your clear inside opening is 34 3/4. Okay? You might have an application where you have a piece of equipment that's 34 inch. In a standard application with a standard hinge, that 1.75 inch thick door is going to be taking over part of your clear 34 3/4 inch width, possibly putting you into a position where you cannot fit through what you need to fit through. Okay? Hospital application with wheelchairs, by having the heel edge of the door inside a part of the opening, it's a problem as the person is working through the opening, and all of a sudden that hand is going to hit the door that's hanging into the opening, because you're really dealing with the clear inside dimension between the stops. And when you have wide swing clear hinges, you maintain that. So handicap compliance. Another reason that it's great for, and we sell these most of the time actually for common sense applications, and here's how it is. Long corridor in a condo building. Dumpsters go out once a week. They go down the corridor, down in the basement, a pair of doors open up, and sure enough, they take those dumpsters and they hit the heel edge of the door because it's in the opening. When you move it out of the opening, you reduce the possibility of damaging the edge of the door because it's taken out, because of how we've shifted the vertical axis of pivoting out. Okay? That's the reason that you would use these. I have customers who buy these for condo buildings for that express purpose. Just get the door out of the opening, a lot less chance of damaging a significantly more expensive door. These hinges generally aren't load rated, meaning if someone said, well, how heavy of a door will they handle? These are not going to be meant to handle doors that are larger or heavier than standard. You're going to follow the guidelines of common sense use for a 4.5-inch standard weight or a 4.5-inch heavyweight sort of hinge. You're going to follow the guidelines for typical 16-gauge doors, 18-gauge doors, 3 hinges, 4 hinges, depending on the height of the door. Heavyweight hinges are always a good idea, especially if you have volume, because that leaf thickness is practically 50% greater. Generally, you're not going to get anything but a 4.5-inch tall or a 5-inch tall in a swing clear. Custom material can be accommodated, but generally you're dealing with 4.5 and 5-inch. Baco only has the 2 thicknesses, standard and heavyweight, the 2 sizes, 4.5 and 5-inch, satin chrome only, non-removable pin only, meaning that pin, when you seat that set screw in, makes driving that pin out all but impossible. Okay, so that's going to be common. There is a link below this video to a document called template, and the template is very handy because it will give you all of the important dimensional properties. You can see how much further over the vertical axis of pivoting is kicked out. So if you'll notice that you've got 1.687, so that's 1 11/16 from the edge of the frame, how much further out you move it. Door thickness is 1 3/4. That 1/16 of an inch difference you've picked up by splitting the margin pretty much. And technically it doesn't remove the door out of the opening, but for 100% of the time it's absolutely code compliant and it's perfect. Especially if you get it out just a bit past 90 degree. The rest of the dimensions that are on the template indicate the location of the screw holes, which are completely template patterned. These are going to fit your standard hollow metal preparation for ANSI templates. Speaking of that, screws are included. You'll get all machine screws, and half wood screws is generally what you'll get packaged, and a complimentary finish. They list it at a 6.5-inch sort of hinge in terms of the width. I'm not really accustomed to dealing with wide throw hinges and then giving them a width dimension. The height is really what's most important. But to know that when you're calling it 4.5 or 5-inch, you are referring to the height of the hinge. Below this video as well is a link to the manufacturer's page where you can review all the things Baco, B-A-H-C-O, or Boston Architectural Hinge Company related. I'm partial to those fellows over there. Why? Well, they stock deeply all of the common stuff that you're going to use all the time in both hinges and door closers. Almost always same-day shipping. Okay, very competitive prices, great spring hinges, and just all around excellent customer service that's focused on getting the product out the door. And generally, that's you want a good quality product that's fairly priced and it's on the way to you. They meet all of that criteria perfectly. If you have any questions on the BB0261 4.5-inch 26D NRP swing clear hinge from Boston Architectural Hinge Company, or any other Baco product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.